everybody, it's Femtrooper, and today I'm going to talk about some games I've really struggled to finish. The games I'm about to talk to you about today were painful for me to get through, okay? I struggled to finish them because they were painful. Sometimes I struggle to get through games because they are really hard. Unfortunately, none of these games I found difficult in that regard. They were just really painful to get through. They were just, for whatever reason, it was like nails on a chalkboard for me. Of course, before we get to the list today, please make sure to click like and subscribe if you're not, as well as let me know which games have you beat recently that were just dreadful and just so hard to finish, but you did finish them. So yeah, I definitely beat games that I don't like sometimes. Some games I have to drop. And I will admit, I tend to drop games more when I'm struggling with difficulty because it's like I literally cannot do this. Sometimes a game can be kind of boring or painful, but if I can do it, I will still do it. Unless it's like absolute pain. So we're going to start off with a game that I thought I might not like, and I was right, but I really like the franchise, and that's Dragon Quest Treasures. This game is not bad. It's just not a game for me. If you like the games that I like, you will probably hate this. This is a collectathon. This is a game where you are literally just collecting stuff and then battling along the way. So it is action combat. It's a JRPG. So it is a role-playing game, and that's what interested me. It has characters from Dragon Quest XI, so lots to like here. And the game is pretty. It's really cool. But it's in an environment similar to Pokemon Legends Arceus, where it's kind of just one big open map, in a sense. You take a train to get to different places, but there's no towns or anything like that. So it's kind of like just areas. And so you'll go into an area that's like, you know, more foresty or more just like, you know, a field. It really felt like Arceus that way, and it was just collecting. So in order to get to the next area or progress anything in the story, you basically just have to collect stuff. And that was not my thing. I know it's called Dragon Quest Treasures. It's about collecting treasure. But I was so bored. I don't like doing that. I want to go and see something interesting. I want to go to a new place, meet people, talk to different NPCs. I want a story that's interesting. Now, the battle system is okay. Like the action combat was fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So, there are some positives here. The game looks okay. Like the game overall is okay. But for me personally, just super boring because I just felt like I'm just collecting stuff. I'm just going to get treasure just to get treasure. You're trying to get home because you're kind of like isekai'd or whatever. But like, I don't know, man. It was so boring. Like, that's all you're doing for, like, however many hours. To me, that's just not enough. Like, I don't mind collecting things if I have to, and it's, like, to progress the story. There's not really a story here. It's kind of like, collect this amount of treasure, go to next area. Okay, now you're in the next area. Now, instead of collecting this amount of treasure, you have to collect this amount of treasure. Man, it was just so boring. So, Dragon Quest Treasures, absolute pain for me. I debated on dropping it many times, and then I thought, no, I'm going to do it. And somehow I did. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have. The next game is a visual novel that I actually did a review on when I beat it. I was really conflicted in the review, and you can tell that, so it's not my finest hour, but I did not like Deathmark. Deathmark to me was a visual novel that I was excited to play because it's horror, it's creepy, it's about ghosts. Like, it has a lot of elements that I thought, I'm gonna like this. I mean, it's about a person who has a curse, basically. They have a mark, and it means they're gonna die, and you have to get rid of the mark, or else you're gonna die. That's interesting. I like the premise. So, in terms of story, like, I was like, whoa, that sounds really cool. I'm excited to play that. But then when you play it, it just kind of drags. It's a little boring. You think that premise sounds interesting, but it actually ends up quite boring. Like, I just didn't care. I wasn't like scared. You know, you're in an abandoned school and you think, oh, that's so creepy. But I just wasn't scared at all. I was like, whatever. Nothing is freaking me out. I don't care if I go down this corner. Like, oh no. Like, I was just really bored. It was not... The dialogue, it just didn't vibe with me. And I know that this series is popular and lots of people like it. So it could just be me. Like, I didn't get it. And other people are like, oh, that was really cool. Not for me. I just found the dialogue to be kind of off somehow. Like, I didn't care about the main character. It was kind of like, okay, are you gonna die? Like, I don't know. Just do whatever you need to do so I can get over this. It's boring. So for me, that was the biggest thing here. It was just boring. You know, not that exciting. It has some cool elements to it in terms of like, yes, you can die in the game. And so kind of neat that way. But every time I progressed, I was just kind of like, that's how I felt the whole game. It was just that face and that, like that was it the entire time. So Deathmark is not a visual novel that really grabbed me. It needed to be creepier, I guess, and just written differently. So yeah. The next game is a game that I don't hate by any means, but I did struggle to finish it. So that is Final Fantasy 16. Yeah. Okay, so I keep this because it's Final Fantasy. There's certain series that even if I don't like, I keep them. Like Pokemon is one. I would go with Final Fantasy as well. It's just so iconic, like, you know, and it's Final Fantasy. So there are a lot of things in this game that I like. So, I mean, the characters were really good. The music, I absolutely loved in this, actually. I really did enjoy the music in this one. I mean, visually, it's great. There's a lot of things to love. Sometimes visually, though, it looked a little PS2. But overall, like, the boss battles were, like, epic. Like, okay, so, Paige, what's the deal? Like, what do you not like? This game had really high moments. Like the highs were high and the lows were low. The lows were quite low. Like the game would be incredibly exciting. I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited to find out what happens next. And then you'd have to do something that felt like a side quest, but wasn't a side quest. It was a main quest, but it really felt like some boring fetch quest that you could have skipped. So what do I mean by that? Something incredible would happen where you found out some crazy story element and it was like, oh my God, I can't believe blank did that. And it was like so intense and you just did a crazy boss battle. And it was like you're like on a high here. You're like, whoa, Final Fantasy, so awesome. And then all of a sudden it was like, now I need you to go talk to some person in another town and grab something. And I was like, okay. I mean, I'll do it, but then it was just really tedious. And there was a lot of that. There was a lot of these little boring sort of, they were main quests because you could not skip them, but they felt like side quests. And it was just really tedious. And I felt like the game in that sense overstayed its welcome. Now, this is not some 100-hour JRPG by any means, but even for the amount of time it took to complete this game, I just felt like there were a lot of things that, I don't know, could have been like, you could have skipped that. So it just felt like it overstayed its welcome in that regard. So I was a little bit let down. Lots of great things though, trust me. Like, I enjoyed the battles. I enjoyed the boss battles. They were just really, really epic. But yeah, it was just a little bit boring sometimes where it was like, man, the story was really cool and now it's just kind of, when are we going to get to something else here, man? Like, this is just a little boring. So that's just my opinion. I was not, like, in love with this game. I don't, think it's a bad Final Fantasy by any means, but it's not, like, my kind of Final Fantasy. Like, it's just not my kind of story. I also hate medieval settings, so keep that in mind. Like, that's just not my thing. So, I'm obviously going to like something like Final Fantasy VII a little bit more, or even Final Fantasy XIII. I just like the setting more. It just helps me get into the characters. But hey, I did like Clive. I did like Jill. I like the characters in this game. It was cool. Great voice acting, whatever. But just kind of, I struggled to finish it because I found like every single play session I had with the game, I was just kind of like, let's get through this. And that's not good. So in terms of that, yeah, a little boring sometimes, but not the worst. But I did struggle to finish it in that regard because every time I played it, it was just a little bit eh. Next, we have another game that I still own because there are redeeming qualities to it, but holy smokes, one part of it, I struggled, okay? So that is another visual novel, a pure visual novel here. There is no gameplay. That is muv-luv Extra specifically. So on the Vita cart, you get 2 games. You get muv-luv Extra and you get muv-luv Unlimited. It's packaged as just muv-luv. But muv-luv Extra is the first game. Then you've got muv-luv Unlimited. And then on another cart, I have muv-luv Alternative, which I have not played yet, but I'm excited to. So what's the deal? Muv-luv Extra is... I'm sorry, I'm going to be honest here. It's one of the most painful experiences of my life in terms of video games. It was so dreadfully boring. I didn't like how the characters talked. I didn't care about any of the conversations. It was so boring. It was like literally listening in to somebody's slice of life, boring ass day. And I was so... I was gonna die. Like, it was so boring. And you're probably like, well, why didn't you just drop it if it was that bad? Because, for starters, everyone says muv-luv is one of the best visual novels of all time. So here's me reading this going like, what is everyone talking about? You guys are nuts. But it's because in muv-luv Unlimited and Alternative, the story takes a really, really insane shift and turn and almost switches genres and gets quite exciting. So I thought, okay, I will just get through this really boring part and then get to something more interesting. Now, muv-luv Unlimited is actually more interesting. I wouldn't say it was like iconic, like I'm going to go, you know, think about this for the rest of my life and it's changed my world. Like, no, it's good. I wasn't blown away, but it was definitely more interesting and the story became something I liked. And I won't say what that is because it's like a massive spoiler. I know it sucks because the game is really just a slice of life, you know, guy has a crush on 2 girls kind of deal. And then the story takes a like really wild turn in Unlimited. So it's worth it to get through, but holy... wow, it was just very painful. Like, it's one of the most painful things I've ever read. Like, it was just so boring. So, it sucks because it does get better. But I just wish that the first part was more interesting. That's all. And, like, yeah, it's necessary because you get to know the characters. But I just feel like, man, you guys could have made it a little bit more interesting. So, yeah, I really did struggle. Every time I booted this up, I felt like I really was like dreading playing it, and that sucks. You don't want to be dreading playing anything, but like I did it to get to something that was more interesting and yes, was more worth it. Fair. But yeah, just pretty painful to get through this one. All right, next is a game that I was really bummed that I didn't really like and that it was a struggle to get through it because I was just bored all the time, and that was Kena Bridge of Spirits. The game, guys, looks gorgeous, looks like a Pixar movie. It looked so great. I was so excited to play this one. It's really a shame because just visually the game is iconic. Like, I'm sorry, but it's so cute. It's beautiful. I love it. But when it comes to actually playing the gameplay is pretty good, but it was really boring, and I will say that the story is just dull. Like, I didn't care what I was doing. Every time I had to do something, I had zero care. The story was so, like, whatever that I would just play the game to get through the next part because I could, and I thought, I'm going to beat this, and it's going to be done, but I don't care about what I'm doing at all. This is one of those games where, like, if there's dialogue, I'm skipping because it's just kind of boring, and I hate to say that because... the game looks incredible, and lots of people like this game. So if you do, great. The story didn't like vibe with me at all. You know, it seemed interesting, and then it got to a point sometimes where I was like I would have to go somewhere, and it just felt tedious to get there. I will say though, really good boss battles in this game, and the final boss was very cool. So there are some redeeming qualities. It was a neat game in that regard. I don't think it's the worst game I've ever played, but I struggled to get through it because every time I played it, it was kind of just like okay, hopefully I'm closer to the end this time. And that sucks. And I will say too that I played this game and I was trying to finish it to play Final Fantasy 16. That was the game I started right after it. And then Final Fantasy 16 kind of was a disappointment for me. So it was kind of like 2 games in a row where I was like, man, just boring, guys. So yeah, Kenna Bridge of Spirits looks great, but to me, it has no substance. It felt soulless, if that's a good way to describe it. Felt soulless. You know, you're playing a game with great characters, great story, you're hooked, right? Not this game. This game is the opposite of that. I was not hooked on anything. I could care less what I was doing. I could care less about the main character. Like, I just felt like nobody had a personality or had anything. It was just dreadful that way. So, you know, if you liked it, yay. But for me, it was just pretty soulless and boring, and I just wanted to get through it. And lastly, we have a game that I think is just absolutely, it should be illegal. Okay, guys? This game is so painful. That game is Mario and Luigi Brothership. I don't know what I was thinking. I feel like I need to learn from this experience because Mario and Luigi Brothership is so painful, which sucks because there's a lot of goodness here. Battle-wise, the combat system, pretty good. Very interesting. It changes. You learn new things. You know, timed button presses. Sure, it's actually pretty good. Gorgeous game, visually amazing. Pretty good music as well. So there's some stuff to like. So like I'm saying, you know, some games have none of that. So okay, it's all right. But then the game, you're like, this is all right. Then you're like, how is it not over? How is it still going? This is a game that should be about 15 hours. I'd say you could get everything in this game in about 15 hours. It'd be pretty okay. I wouldn't, like, by any means love it, but I would think this game is okay. It's 15 hours, whatever. This game is like 45 hours maybe, and that is disgustingly rude. I am like, I don't want to say a game, how can a game be rude? It is rude. This game was mean to me. I feel like I've been victimized by Mario and Luigi Brothership. Like, I feel personally damaged having spent 45 hours on a game that should have been 15 because it overstayed its welcome like you cannot believe. It just did not end. To the point where I was playing the final boss and it was still going. I get it. JRPG final bosses have like 2-3 phases. This is not new. And then it's like, okay, why are you not dying? How is it still going? There's another phase? Stop. Or it would be like, all right, this is the final dungeon. And you're like, cool. And it was not. Then there was like an actual final dungeon or an actual final boss or an actual final this and that. And please stop. The game is so mean. I feel like, how is this game bullying me? It was just so painful to get through because, quite honestly, story-wise, so-so. It's not that great. And in terms of areas, also so-so. Like, nothing is that great. I didn't care about anything. And there would be things where it's like, all right, we're on, like, I'll give you an example. We're on our way to the final dungeon. And you're like, okay, I get that. And then it'd be like, actually, just wait. Can you do this first? And it's like, no, what are you talking about? There's more? Why? It's like, well, somebody's over here and they need some help to do this. Oh, you know what? You might actually have to do this now. It was like every time it teased you. The game was constantly teasing. It was like, okay, you know, you think you're about to go to like, I don't know, a boss. And it's like, no, just kidding. I want you to do this now. Like, that's why I'm saying it was super rude. The game was actually rude because it constantly teased me. I was just mad at this game. Don't play this game, okay? Play Final Fantasy 16, play whatever, play some of these games. They're not, like, awful. This game, though, I feel like I need someone to, like, I don't know, like, I need a hug after playing this game. Like, I feel, like, so mad, and, yeah, sure, should I have dropped it? Yes. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm incredibly goofy that way. Why did I not drop it? because I felt like if I dropped it, I would have wasted the 2 weeks or whatever it was that I spent playing it. So I just thought, let me beat it so I can at least say I completed something for a sense of achievement. So yes, I did beat it. I did, get that sense of achievement. Yay, it's done. But man, oh man, I do not recommend this game to anyone. Please don't. So those are some more games that I struggled to finish because they were just painful. And I want to know, what games have you beat recently that you finished, but man, they dragged or they were just painful for you, but somehow you got through them. Maybe you struggled because it was just super hard and it made finishing it all the more better. I guess that's great. Those are good struggles. Tell me the good struggles. Tell me the bad. I want to know in the comments. And of course, I'll see you guys in my next video.